Hi, I'm Jonathan Plugarver.
My name is Michelle Schwong. My name is Diane Heath.
And my name is Adam Matthew. And our group did the Dave Matthews Band for our presentation for Human Resource Management. So, the Dave Matthews Band, we basically compared them to bands such as U2, Bruce Springsteen, and the Grateful Dead. We chose Dave Matthews Band because when researching them, we found out to be that they're highly acclaimed. And we honestly believe that they'll probably still be active in at least 20 years. Their concerts are highly popular, which is one reason why we believe that. And we chose bands such as U2 and Bruce Springsteen because they basically perform their live concerts in the same way that Dave Matthews does. And they are also highly acclaimed and have received positive reviews.
So one of the artists that we compared Dave Matthews to is the Grateful Dead, and they are often compared to the Grateful Dead because both bands are considered jam bands. And while Dave Matthews is a modern jam band, the Grateful Dead are considered the original jam band or the pioneers of that genre. And they both bands are acclaimed for their long, airy solos and the unique sound that they create through their multi-genre music. They also both have had huge success as musicians in their lengthy careers. And recently, the Grateful Dead was ranked 57th in an issue of Rolling Stone magazine as the 57th greatest artist of all time, and they're inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1994. So for Dave Matthews' strategy, Matthews actually openly admits that he didn't really have a vision or plan going into the creation of the band. And while for many organizations, this would be seen as a weakness or a shortcoming, this could actually be attributed to, their success could actually be attributed to this lack of vision. It's because rather than trying to fit themselves into a mold that they don't fit or really restricting themselves with this vision in a creative field such as music, you need that openness to continue to grow and develop their own unique sound. And it has led to huge success, such as 23 songs on the Billboard Top 200, 13 of which are in the top 10, and 5 of which are actually #1 hits. And they've also been nominated for numerous prestigious awards, including a Grammy in 1997, which they won for one of their songs. So while Dave Matthews didn't have a vision, he did have a goal, and this was to surround himself with the best possible musicians, and trusted from there that they would create chemistry and synergy and create unique, great music. Their competitive advantage is the fact that they're a touring band rather than a band that relies on its record sales. And this is key in times of internet piracy because all bands are being hurt by the internet piracy and their music being illegally downloaded. So the fact that they make most of their revenue from their tours, which is an experience that you can't pirate, is key to their success. And their core competency within this touring is their live performance. They're recognized as one of the best live performers of our generation. And that has led them to be the top touring act of the decade from 2000 to 2010, and they're still currently one of the top touring acts. And the total gross revenue as a touring band is over $500 million. So to differentiate, another strategy of theirs is differentiation, and they differentiate themselves through their ambiguous genre. This ambiguous genre comes about as a result of the equal contribution by the members to their songs. It doesn't have one person's direction or like same sound that they keep using. They let everyone build their unique sound. And it's also as a result of the unique mix of instruments within the band, which is a guitar, violin, saxophone, drums, and originally keyboard. And this unique genre also allows for socio-cultural environmental scanning in that they can see the socio-cultural environment. They're in a unique place to then adapt to it by trying to add elements of what's popular into their own music.
Another topic we analyzed was organization, and that is when a group of people perform together to achieve their goal. Organizational structure is the way the group communicate and work together to accomplish their tasks. And for jobs as a whole, it's the band itself, but individually, it's the instruments they play and their role in the band. For example, some of the members include Dave Matthews, who is the lead vocalist and guitarist, Boyd Tinsley, who's the violinist, and Jeff Coffin, who is the saxophonist. Dave Matthews is the member with the most responsibility because he is the envisioned leader of the band, but there's also the manager who is Robert Cabshaw, and he basically launched the band's career from being known as a local bar band to one of the most popular touring bands in the U.S. The band is an adaptive organization since they are flexible because they're able to change according to the environment. For example, their annual summer-long tour, whenever they perform a song, they improvise it to make it different each time instead of making it the same as every single time they perform.
So within the culture of Dave Matthews Band, they demonstrate a high degree of collectivism, which means that they're proud to be associated with the band and to be part of the band that has achieved so much success. And within it, there's a culture of collaboration and flexibility, similar to that of a clan culture. They're also part of the jam band subculture, which is, as mentioned before, has to do with like concerts and live performances and creating a certain atmosphere in which they're going to produce unique music and play their songs a different way than they do on their albums and just put on a show for the audience. They also have created their own Dave Matthews subculture. And this is like, it's centered in Charlottesville, Virginia, where they, specifically Miller's Restaurant, where they started their band. And the hardcore Dave Matthews fans are part of this culture. They go to as many of their shows as they can. Some have gone to 40, 50 shows. And many of these hardcore fans actually go on a pilgrimage to Miller's Restaurant in Charlottesville to see the origins of the band and participate in the culture.
All right, so leadership of the Dave Matthews Band. There's no definite leader in the band. Some of the reasons for that is that everybody comes up with their own music, and power is basically distributed evenly like a flat organization. They share the same ethics, and an example of great leadership in the band, Robert Cabshaw, he's their current manager, so it's not necessarily within the band, but part of the band in a way. He's great because he's also the manager of artists such as Fish, Tim McGraw, Alicia Keys, and Trey Anastasia. Basically, they operate at a high level and they come to work when they give 110%. They don't bring drama into their work because they're serious about it, but they're also having fun. They're dependable and talent always helps, but the rest of the company has to trust that the person will follow through on his or her responsibilities. So that's another example why there is no definite leader, because they're basically all working together evenly and they all assume the same responsibilities. They can be labeled as the king of collaboration because they produce great music together and they have worked together for such a long time, and it still continues to show in their current concerts and even upcoming ones. And the Dave Matthews Band is also adaptive because while they stay original, they keep up with new technology and adapt to the business climates of the future.
So for a band to succeed, there must be motivation while they're working together. And motivation is defined as intrinsic and extrinsic factors that help a person achieve their goal. There are two examples that I want to talk about where motivation was needed for the Dave Matthews Band to continue to succeed. So the first situation was where they needed a different producer. Their current producer was not motivating them enough to produce music that they liked, and they decided to go with Glenn Ballard in 2001. And for him, he actually helped them start over. He gave them hope, and hope is defined as just having a positive attitude. And when they worked with him, they started to work in a resident environment where there's positive energy, there was hope, and then there was just positive behavior all around. And because of this, everybody started to feel self-efficacy, where they knew that they were capable of completing the goal, and their goal was to produce music that they liked and that they knew that other people would like. Another time where they needed motivation was when they had the loss of Leroy in 2008. Leroy was their saxophonist, and he got into a car accident, so he passed away. And during this time, the band actually was deciding to just break off and just part their own ways. But because of the death, they started to feel motivation, and they felt that they needed to stay together. And in this situation, there was the three needs theory, which which includes having the need to feel power, affiliation, and achievement. And in this situation, they wanted to stay together because of affiliation, because they wanted to belong, and just knowing that if they stay together, they would achieve the goal of just like staying together and working together and not breaking as a band. And the ERG theory also came into play because ERG stands for existence, relatedness, and growth. And again, because of the death, they wanted to stay together to just prove that they could still be a band, and it would also be a way to honor Leroy.
So, ultimately, Dave Matthews Band, what did we basically sum up? While Dave Matthews is technically the leader of the band, there's just a high degree of collaboration. They all equally pitch in, so like I mentioned before, they all assume just about the same level of responsibility. Having no vision ultimately allows for high levels of flexibility and creativity. This is especially true in their live concerts. They have great strategy and organizational tactics, which is why they've been around for so long. Their culture speaks out to a variety of people, which is why there's even culture pilgrimage that has been formed in certain locations. And we've also shown that leadership and their motivation are consistent throughout themselves as a group, as a band. And because of that, they're able to stay together. And what is another reason why we believe why they will still be around 10,